Hi. I know that some people would just rather I stick with music and not do any more political videos, but um, I try not to. But I've always been somewhat into politics and world affairs more than say politics. Politics. But I'll tell you one thing that it gets to me is there's something right in front of our eyes that it just escapes a lot of people, and it even escapes our generals and our military generals, and that's the Rothschilds. They have fiat banking all over the world. They have control of our Federal Reserve. They have control of everybody's like Federal Reserve. And see, they use terms like federal to make it sound like that it's part of something, federal in the United States or something. But they have federal things all over the world too. They call them the Federation, Republic, this, the Federation of that, and um, so and just like our FBI and the CIA, they have those all over the world too. And they also have the Pentagon type things all over the world, a military industrial complexes all over the world. And I know that sounds really out there, but I'm trying to tell you in the simplest way I can. It's like they're the landlord, and they're even the landlord for the Queen. They're the landlord for Bill Gates. They're the landlord for Walmart. And you see all those box stores going up all over, like they got them in four corners right around where I live, like a fort, box stores right around. It's like a control grid. They got a Walmart control grid. They got security grids. They've got polling grids. Where you vote. They've got and it's just like it's getting to be like North Korea. The North Korea doesn't have as many cameras as England does, and as many cameras as the United States does. It's one of the reasons they might want to isolate themselves is because um, they know that there's something fishy in the water, and there, and I mean besides fish, and see they're isolated, and they're really bad. It's a really bad dictator, but the Rothschilds do the same thing. They speak of freedom, but what they do is they siphon everybody's resources and everything else away from the people, and they, you know, actually places like North Korea and China. That's kind of what they like. That's what they want for themselves. They want to be just total dictators, and they want to have everybody's everything. They want to, and even like with this global warming thing. See, in the last couple years, the sun has cooled down. The sun goes through its own cycles of hot and cold, and the different solar rays go out. Sunspots and all that. But anyway, they're now they want to get to where they're controlling your thermostat in your house and controlling what kind of light bulbs you use. Some of the light bulbs they want to sell you got mercury in them, but forget that. As long as it says green on it and it costs you $5 or $6 and everything, that's what they care about. And they're real shysters, and they got shysters that they put in office. Now the Bushes are the worst of the whole entire bunch because Prescott Bush, get this, Smedley Major General Smedley Butler spoke out against Prescott Bush, and here General Smedley Butler, he's part of the military-industrial complex. The ones that get the big money, and they get the fiat money created out of thin air, but they get the first shot at it. By the time it gets to you, it's inflation and taxes and everything else. But anyway, um, General Smedley Butler was talking with Prescott Bush, and Prescott Bush thought he was a good old boy, Illuminati type good old boy. He asked Smedley Butler to lead 500,000 men against our own country during World War II because he figured our country was weak and that we could just he could kind of declare martial law back then, with the bankers, the Rothschilds bankers, because he knew how powerful the Rothschilds were, and he figured, well, we'll just be like a landlord and we'll turn off the lights or something, or you know. And but Smedley Butler, he exposed it. General Smedley Butler says Prescott Bush wanted to overthrow our own government, and Prescott Bush should have been charged with treason. He should have been really hung. That'd be high treason. But instead, because he was part of the Rothschilds, he got off, and so now the grandson, Baby Bush, and is doing the same thing. Now Bush Sr. he worked for the CIA when Kennedy was shot. He was in the kill zone. That's the area cleared where the people were. There wasn't any people, but there was people all around except around 100 feet where that grassy knoll was. That was like cleared, so no people could be there. They told people not to be in that area. Well, that's the area where Kennedy was shot, and Bush and Nixon were two of the only people that were on the plane from Dallas back to Washington when Kennedy's brain was altered. It was altered because he was shot in the side of the head, and they tried to make it look like he was shot from behind. And Bush was on that plane, and he was in the CIA. He was also one of the people that was headed up the soldiers that were supposed to go down to Cuba. And after that, he was put from one of those people all the way up to the top of the CIA so that he could shut down the Warren Commission. That's right. Yeah, see, the Warren Commission, they were the ones that were supposed to do an investigation, kind of like the people were supposed to do an investigation of 9/11. And they got all the people that were doing an investigation of 9/11 are on corporate boards. That's what fascism is. People every time, and especially for some reason Republicans, I say fascism. What the heck is fascism? Well, fascism is when you get corporations that are directly into setting government policy, or enough influence so that they can make policy. They can. It's like they have like closed door energy meetings. That's a perfect example of what fascism is. They shouldn't be having a closed door anything in the White House, like that. But they do. Well, this is secret. This is closed door energy. This is, and I'm a creature. I'm just a special creature. That's what Cheney says. He's a special creature. Yeah. Well, in the Constitution, it doesn't. I mean, there. He doesn't. He's not a special creature outside the laws of the Constitution. That's one thing he's not. He might call himself a special creature, but he's just a fascist, really. And the green zone we have is a fascist green zone over there in Iraq. And I say it's fascist because it's set up for us, It's not set up for the people that own the country, their country. I was talking to somebody else and I said, well, we got to stay over there and we got to make sure everything works out all right. And I said, yeah, well, it's really not our country. A lot of people seem to throw that aside, like it's our country to make right or wrong. It's really not our country, Suppose we said we were over there for this reason, that reason, the other reason. How many reasons are we going to be over there for? I guess the last reason is because there's Al Qaeda over there. Well, the CIA created Al Qaeda to begin with, and you don't just create Al Qaeda and then say, "Oh, it's not our Al Qaeda." Well, you created it. What do you mean it's not your Al Qaeda? Stupid. We got just like you're not supposed to believe your own lying eyes when these buildings get blown to smithereens. There's pieces of steel shooting out 100 yards, just being literally blown to smithereens, and we're supposed to not. We're like a military guy come up to your house and he'll say, "Oh, don't mind me. I'm not really here." Don't believe your lying eyes. That's a military op. Anyway, so if I could just play music, sure, but I would hope more people would understand that it's money. It's all about control. It's all like that.